There is a man who hasn't slept properly in decades. His condition is called Fatal Familial Insomnia. Once it begins, the affected person stops sleeping permanently. Within months, the brain begins to fail. Within a year, they are dead. Not from the lack of sleep itself, scientists think, but from whatever sleep was supposed to be doing that it can no longer do. The question is, what was that? Sleep is the most universal behavior on Earth. Every animal that has ever been studied sleeps. Fish sleep, insects sleep, even jellyfish. Creatures with no brain, no central nervous system, just a diffuse network of nerves, have been observed entering a sleep-like state. Whatever sleep is doing, it is doing something so fundamental that evolution preserved it across 600 million years of life on Earth. It predates the brain itself. And yet if you asked a room full of sleep researchers what sleep is actually for, you would not get a single answer. You would get 4. And the strangest thing is that all 4 might be right simultaneously. The first theory is restoration. The idea that sleep is when your body repairs itself, rebuilding muscle tissue, synthesizing proteins, releasing growth hormone, consolidating the cellular maintenance that cannot happen while you are awake and running. This theory has strong support. Growth hormone release peaks during deep sleep. Immune function is dramatically compromised after even one night of poor sleep. Athletes who sleep more perform measurably better. The body is clearly doing something during sleep that it cannot do while awake. But restoration doesn't explain dreaming. And it doesn't explain why the brain, which is already resting when you're sitting quietly, becomes more active during certain stages of sleep than it is during waking life. The brain doesn't quiet down during REM sleep, it lights up. The second theory is memory consolidation. The idea that sleep is when your brain processes and stores what you experience during the day. Sorting through the day's inputs, deciding what to keep, what to discard, and how to file the rest. The evidence for this is significant. Students who sleep after studying remember more than those who stay awake. Sleeping on a problem genuinely improves the ability to solve it the next day. During sleep, the hippocampus, your brain's short-term memory storage, appears to replay the day's events, transferring memories to the cortex for long-term storage. The phrase "sleep on it" is not a metaphor. It is a description of a real biological process. But memory consolidation doesn't explain why total sleep deprivation kills. You can lose memories and survive. You cannot survive without sleep. Whatever sleep is protecting is more fundamental than memory. The third theory is brain cleaning. In 2013, a neuroscientist named Maiken Nedergaard at the University of Rochester discovered something that changed the field entirely. She found that the brain has its own waste disposal system, a network of channels called the glymphatic system, that becomes dramatically more active during sleep. During waking hours, neurons produce metabolic waste products as a natural byproduct of their activity. One of those waste products is a protein called beta amyloid, the same protein that accumulates in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. During sleep, the glymphatic system activates, cerebrospinal fluid floods through the brain, and this waste is flushed out. The brain is literally cleaning itself. And it can only do this when you are asleep. This may be the most important discovery in sleep science in decades. It suggests that sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired. It allows toxic waste to accumulate in your brain. Every night you don't sleep enough, you are leaving the dishes in the sink. And over years and decades, the buildup may be one of the mechanisms behind neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The fourth theory is energy conservation. Sleep drops your metabolic rate by roughly 10%. In evolutionary terms, when food was scarce and predators were active, being still and unconscious during the least productive hours, typically darkness, conserved calories and reduced exposure. This theory explains why sleep evolved in the first place, but it doesn't explain why it stayed so complex. Simple energy conservation doesn't require REM sleep or dreaming. Evolution doesn't maintain complex systems without purpose. which brings us back to the brain during REM. During rapid eye movement sleep, the stage when you dream, your brain is running at nearly full capacity. Your eyes dart behind closed lids. Your muscles are actively paralyzed by a brainstem mechanism specifically designed to stop you from acting out your dreams. And the content of those dreams draws from every corner of your memory, combining experiences in ways that waking logic would never allow. You fly, you meet people who don't exist, you solve problems you couldn't solve awake. Researchers at Harvard found that people who dream about a task they learned the day before perform significantly better on that task than people who didn't dream about it. The dreaming brain is not idling. It is running simulations, testing combinations, finding connections between things that the waking brain keeps in separate categories. Now go back to the man with fatal familial insomnia. As his sleep disappears, the first thing to go is the ability to fall into deep sleep. Then REM disappears. The brain stops cleaning itself. Memory consolidation stops. The restoration cycle breaks. And then, systematically, everything that depends on those processes begins to fail. Within months, hallucinations begin. The brain attempting to dream while awake, unable to separate simulation from reality. Within a year, the body shuts down entirely. He doesn't die from being tired. He dies because a brain that cannot sleep cannot maintain the processes that keep it functional. Sleep isn't rest. It is maintenance. It is the only window in which your brain can do the things it cannot do while you are conscious. You spend a third of your life in this state, not wasted, not idle, running the processes that make the other 2/3 possible. Every memory you have was consolidated during sleep. Every toxin your brain cleared was cleared while you were unconscious. Every hour you have ever spent sleeping was your brain doing the work it could not do while you were awake and in the way. There is a man who hasn't slept properly in decades. He is dead now. And the thing that killed him was not the absence of sleep. It was the absence of everything sleep was quietly doing while he wasn't paying attention.